Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. Paul joined by Jack Weinberger, Robert Ziggy Ziegler at the University of Virginia. Does it get better than this, guys? A mailbag on a Thursday. Relaxing. We have Friday coming up. The weekend, week 3, right around the corner. Appreciate everybody who submitted questions. We can't get to all of them right now, so we're gonna do the best that we can. Kenneth Walker did not practice Wednesday. Like, I gotta stop seeing these.
Oh, I got Charbonnet.
I gotta stop seeing these updates during shows that Kenneth Walker's not playing. Bad for my fantasy team. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. You can always check us out on audio if you can't find or can't watch us on YouTube or on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere where you can get your podcasts. And of course, you can always become a member. And we're going to read as many member questions as we can right now. Part of it here is, we at some point we kind of have to close submissions and get ready for the show at hand. So if you submitted questions and we couldn't get to it, we'll try and get to them. We'll try and respond, but we're not going to be able to put them in the show here right now. So why don't we get right into it? Florida Thief says, wow, Sam Darnold and Malik Willis are better than Caleb and Goff. Then he goes, in all seriousness, do you think that we're pivoting back to a run-dominant league? All metrics so far seem to indicate that the golden era of passing is behind us. Ziggy, you are the stats guy here. What do you think of that?
No. That's all I would say. Passing is better than running. That's been true. That remains true. There's no real question here. The best teams are the teams with the best quarterbacks because they can pass the best. I'm not going to look at Malik Willis and say that's the formula for success in the NFL.
I agree.
Although he is correct that Willis and Darnold are better than Caleb.
And I will acknowledge as well that there are running backs, I think, this year who are I think the running back position is has been rejuvenated a little bit through 2 weeks of this season compared to most. But no, it's still a passing league.
No disrespect, but absolutely not.
From Christy Mack says, I have a simple question. Are the Saints good?
Yeah.
Straight up, yeah. Are the Saints good?
Yeah, Saints are good.
Yeah, you can go and check our Contenders Pretenders segment on our last show, but all of us said yes, right?
Yeah, we did. Even the Magic 8 Ball said yes.
Raheed Shaheed.
Yeah, right.
He's the captain.
Rashid Shaheed guiding the ship. No, the Saints, their offense, they're averaging 45.5 points per game right now. I don't want them to be good, but all the metrics, all the eye test, everything says, yes, this is a good Saints team right now. Still early, but from what we've seen, yes, they are good. Eli Ice says, do you think the Bears fans will cry enough tears to flood Chicago when they finish 7-10 and realize they're still on the QB carousel?
7-10, dude, you smoking? They'll be like 3-14. This guy, Caleb, won't more than 3 games.
Yeah, it'll be a sad day for Jack when Caleb shows up.
Those tears will be flooding the city of Chicago.
J.K. Zarata says, through 2 weeks, tight ends have seemed pretty quiet overall. Likely had a big week 1, but pretty quiet week 2. Kelsey has been real quiet. Maybe I'm missing some that have blown up, but why do you think we aren't seeing as much from the tight ends early this season? Actually, J.K., I kind of think last week we saw quite a few tight ends have really good games. Brock Bowers went for nearly a century. Trey McBride had 70 yards. Kittle, 76 and a touchdown. He had a good game against the Vikings. Gesicki was really, if you watch the Bengals and the Chiefs, he went for 91 yards. It might be that some of the splashier players like Kelsey, like Laporta, some of the big fantasy names, Mark Andrews, have not done as much. But I think tight ends are still... last week was a big bounce back. The fantasy guys in week 1, it was horrible. Like no one except likely. But yeah, I think Hawkinson's hurt. I think we'll see more production going forward. From Michael Merrill, he says GPG 10. Go Pack Go, I'm assuming. Hope you guys are enjoying the NFL season so far. Your videos have been amazing to watch. Well, thank you, Mike.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
A lot of surprising teams losing this week. My question for you guys, if this makes the show, which division has been the most surprising after week 2?
I mean, it's probably the AFC North.
It has to be the South, no? The Saints out of nowhere. The Bucks are 2-0. The Falcons a road win in Philly.
Also, the AFC North, you got the Bengals and Ravens 0-2.
Yeah,
but I guess
that's a big surprise.
I guess they both played the Chiefs. NFC South's a good point, though.
No, you bring up a good point. The Bengals playing the Patriots, the Ravens playing the Raiders, for them to not have a single win.
To not have one win. Yeah, I'd go with the North. Yeah, AFC North.
I agree. AFC North for sure.
I'm going to stick with the South. I'm shocked at how New Orleans has looked. I'm shocked the Bucks went into Detroit and won. I'm shocked Atlanta won in Phil. I think the South, outside of Carolina being bad, has been very surprising. From John Exler, he says, one more quick question. I guess we have another one coming up from him. There's a lot of talk about the Packers defense still being bad. Personally, I'm not seeing it. Sure, they have some issues against the run, but they have plenty of time to patch that up. And in the past 2 games, they've had at least 3 takeaways each. Xavier McKinney has been very good. 2 interceptions. Is that not just the offense failing to convert on those opportunities? If the offense had turned those 2 early turnovers against Philly into touchdowns instead of field goals, same against the Colts, they would have won both games handedly. And the conversation would be how great the Packers defense has been. Am I wrong? Ziggy, we'll go to you for this.
I think that the Packers defense will be good. I think it hasn't been some people are expecting to be like a top 10 defense, and that's a lot. But as you say, you bring in a new coordinator, it takes time for things to gel. No, I am not worried that this defense is going to be particularly bad. I think over the course of the season, they'll show, if not they're the best, they at least generate big plays and more big plays to compensate the ways they fall short.
I thought they looked a lot better against the Colts, but against Philadelphia, there were times where the Eagles felt unstoppable.
But that field was so bad. It's very hard to assess.
I'm sorry. They're both playing on the same field. Like I understand.
Both defenses look terrible and looked a lot better in week 2.
He does bring up a good point, though. Like, I do believe that if Philly capitalized and it's 14-0 early against
Green
Philly,
Bay capitalized.
Green Bay capitalized, sorry, against Philly early, it's a different game.
Oh, it probably is.
So I get his point, but no, the Packers defense looks pretty poor for the most part against Philly.
I thought that Eagles drive to go and ice the game, like the Packers felt helpless on defense. There were some times where sure, Ziggy, some people might say the field. I'm not totally there. But yeah, I thought they looked better in week 2. From Salad Cena, Goff and Purdy are not beating those game manager allegations. Also, Josh Jacobs looks like he was worth the contract. As far as Josh Jacobs goes, we said that's part of the reason you go get a younger running back. What do you have, 32, 35 carries against Indianapolis? Aaron Jones can't handle that workload, was Ziggy's quote from the previous show. And then Goff and Purdy, I like both these quarterbacks. I think Purdy gets underrated by a lot of people, but he has moments, and we've seen more of them recently, where he just sometimes doesn't show up. And in the playoffs last year, I thought that he really struggled against on the road to the Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl, I mean, that game really didn't get good till the end in the fourth quarter. Like, I think there are more questions about Brock. I have personally more questions about Brock Purdy, and they're going to give him a big contract soon. Like, when Brock Purdy's ready for that extension, you kind of got to give it to him, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a Brock Purdy hater, so to say. Like, I've always said it's all his weapons, but it's to have one bad week between the Niners and the Lions where you lose games by less than a touchdown, and just say, they haven't broken these game manager allegations after both going to the deep. Oh
no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I like both these quarterbacks, but I just have more questions than I did a year ago.
You 100% give Brock Purdy a contract.
You, Ziggy, do you give him $55 million?
Yeah. What else are you going to do? Wait for a better guy to walk in the building?
It's fair. I probably would give him the money too. But
like when you have a QB who's taking you to the Super Bowl, and
honestly, like, to a degree, Brock Purdy is a bit of a game manager.
But that's fine.
But he's a good game manager.
That's okay.
Like sometimes a game manager, when you have a team like the 49ers, that's all you need. You need him to make a couple plays.
Most quarterbacks don't manage the game. They lose you the game.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's great. It's unfair to say that having a good game manager like Brock Purdy it's valuable. It's very valuable. You just need him to be able to make a big play or two.
Fill in the blank. Big blank Brock.
Big.
How about next question, Brock?
Okay. Come on, Ziggy.
Moon 13 says, hello again. It's my personal favorite part of the video. PFS upset picks. Yes. Everyone pat themselves on the back for correct upset picks last week after Paul and Jack took the Vikings upset, and I called the Browns over the Jaguars. Ziggy would have been with us, by the way, on the Vikings.
I would have taken the Vikings too.
Paul and I are 1-1. Jack is 1-0. Ziggy is 0-1 right now, but he would have won.
Call it 1-1. I deserve credit for the Vikings.
You would, yes.
I picked him in the game picks.
You were with us on the game.
Yes.
What do you expect though with Ziggy? Also, as he had a losing record in the Pick'em League at this moment. So a little shame.
I got to do my picks.
This week, I like the 2.5-point home dog Saints to get a win against the Eagles to prove they might be for real in the NFC. Wait, I thought New Orleans was
maybe it opened. No? Did it flip?
Was that Well, as of today, maybe it opened in the other direction. He goes, let's see. The Green Bay game last week convinced me that there are examples where the coach and the play calling matters a lot. Matt LaFleur was a big reason the Green Bay offense got going against Malik Willis. I know you don't believe coaches make a difference. Well, that's not true. Jack doesn't think. Coaches clearly make a difference.
I don't know.
When situations like Green Bay, they find themselves with no real starting QB, according to Jack, can coaches matter? Well, coaches matter. I'm just straight up. Look at what's going on in Minnesota. I mean, come on. Yes, obviously.
No, that's just Darnold balling out.
I'm going to stick with what would have worked last week. Give me the Vikings again, 2-point dogs.
I'm rolling with the.
Yeah,
are you right?
I'm going Minnesota.
Squad ride, baby. Squad ride the Vikings.
And no, coaches don't really matter much.
Q-Pack 2003. Hey guys, Packers fan here. I know it's early, but do you think? Oh boy, here we go. Do you think Caleb Williams' struggles are indicative of another Bears quarterback flop? Things have been weird the last couple of weeks league-wide, but it'd be comforting to think the Bears' offense is likely to remain dysfunctional for the foreseeable future. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the Viking success while it lasts. Love the show. Very nice from a Packers, fellow Packers.
It was nice.
I mean, I was going to say, I know, from a fellow
Packers fan. You can say it. It's okay.
No, the word I'm going for is
from a football fan, a fellow NFC North fan.
Yeah, I was going to say listener, but from a Packers.
There's no good way out of this.
There's no good way out of it.
From a fellow Packers fan.
Yeah. From a Packers fan, I appreciate. Yeah, fellow NFC North. That's what I'm going for. Love the show, he says. So
nice.
Caleb Williams.
Appreciate it.
Obviously, Jack doesn't like him. We'll go to Ziggy on this. Ziggy, what do you think about Caleb?
Stinks.
It's too early to render a judgment. Again, the people who are saying Caleb Williams was going to come out and be a playoff quarterback immediately, that was too hasty. It's not surprising to see him struggle. Most guys do when they're new to the league. It happens. I'm not forming a judgment either way.
I'm with you. It's way too early.
Ziggy, if I was new to the league, you think I'd struggle?
Jack, we could give you 20 years in the NFL and you'd still struggle.
I think that's outrageous. I think 20 years I'd be slicing and dicing.
45?
No, but you give me 20 years. I said by year.
Jack would die of old age before he became a productive NFL player.
I say by year 8.
I think he'd die of a broken spleen. I don't know.
I did have mono.
Tony Ball says, this is for all of you, but especially Jack. Oh, geez, here we go. Do you see the irony in the statistics noted below between Justin Fields and Caleb Williams? It's looking like the Bears are an albatross for all quarterbacks. I can't imagine the psychological burden that Williams is feeling. I'm beginning to think the Bears' curse on quarterbacks will affect him for the rest of the season and perhaps career. What do you think?
We don't have to read all the stats, but here's what it says. Justin Fields has played better than Caleb Williams.
Yeah, well, Justin Fields is just a better quarterback. And when Justin Fields was in Chicago, he got all the blame. But now we're defending Caleb Williams, saying it's the offensive line. Now, Caleb Williams isn't good, and I've said that. And all our fans know that. And you could have watched him at USC, and you could have said yourself, this guy's not going to pan out, like this great football mind of myself did. We saw Justin Fields at Ohio State looked amazing too. I don't understand where this thing came from with Caleb Williams. Justin Fields is a better QB. I think the Bears, to move on from him, were foolish. I don't think it's a Bears problem. I think it's a Caleb Williams problem. I think Justin Fields won 8 games last year. Bears were 8-9, right?
Yeah, I mean, but everybody expected moving from your third to fourth year quarterback down to a rookie. There will be some difficult adjustments. That's how it is.
I don't think Caleb will ever win 8 games in an NFL season ever.
The thing with Justin Fields, though, Jack, is that Justin Fields, we're reacting to 2 games from Caleb Williams. Justin Fields never progressed over the course of 3 seasons. He never took the jump.
Yeah, I don't think Caleb won 5 games in the NFL.
What I'm saying is, if you could pick Justin Fields or Caleb Williams to for this year, if you could say you could have one of these 2 guys going forward, everyone's going to take Caleb Williams because we kind of know what Justin Fields is.
Jack's not,
but he never had a Dunze and Keenan Allen and DJ Moore.
Wait, DJ Moore?
Yeah, but not the 3 of them. That's a good receiving core.
Well, Keenan Allen didn't play last week either.
You give
Dunze's kind of hurt.
It doesn't matter. Caleb's not good. But if you give Justin Fields those 3 receivers, he hasn't had that chance. I
guess we'll see. I mean, we'll see. Let's see what Fields does. He's going to hold on to this.
And I know Chicago was with me. They wanted to stay with Justin Fields too. Most of them, they should have.
Man, I'd say a handful.
You give Justin Fields those 3, he's good. Caleb stinks.
Right. Time will tell. Red Rabbit says, what are your thoughts on
like
Bryce Young getting benched? Ziggy still doesn't believe in Malik Willis, yet Young has gotten benched 2 games into the season while Willis pulled out the win in competent fashion. Go Pack, go. Oh, first off, hold on. I'll hold on, Ziggy. Before you even go, Malik Willis didn't throw the football. like they ran the entire time. He had 3 throws. He had 3 throws. Okay. So again, he did a very good job of the game plan that was given to him. A superb job. And they won the game. That's great. They ran 53 times. So before we start talking about Malik Willis, is this, why are we hating on? We're not hating on Malik. We're just saying he didn't do anything in that game to make you say, okay, he can be a viable quarterback in the National Football League. Just go ahead, Ziggy. This is more targeted at you.
I mean, I was just gonna say, like, the comparison is not fair, but also I don't really know what the Panthers are doing. Like, Andy Dalton is not the future. I see no reason not to play Bryce Young and just hope that things get better.
Because Tepper's out of control.
Yeah, I mean, Tepper is out of control, but that's not how you run a franchise. So I would not be looking...
but nothing that they've done is how you run a franchise. Like, what?
Yeah, no, so it's, again, I understand what the explanation is. I'm not denying the principle of sufficient reason here. Right? Like, obviously, there's an explanation, but it's not a good one. So, yeah, I mean, everybody's scrambling. It's a disaster. Malik Willis is not better than Bryce Young.
I mean, there was also a I saw a tweet, and I will need to check on the accuracy of it, but it was saying essentially the Panthers traded in the prime of their careers Brian Burns. They got rid of Brian Burns, Christian McCaffrey, and DJ Moore, and wound up trading away more first round picks than they received. Somehow,
yeah.
I mean, they've been run into the ground. I need to confirm that. I'm assuming it is.
No, that's basically right.
Yeah, and they ran themselves into the ground. So they have to completely start over.
If they had Christian McCaffrey, they could avoid running themselves into the ground. They could run him into the ground instead.
Ryan Dreischer says, as many of us here are members of the NFC North, I have a question about the division. Are these 2 weeks at all a decent look at what the season holds for each team? It feels each team is performing differently than expected so far. The Lions have looked sluggish. The Packers have Jordan Love injured, are dealing with an absurd amount of penalties. The Vikings seem to be punching well above their weight. The Bears were expected to ride on their defense, but not to this level. Will the offense join in on the fun? Feel free to summarize if you want. Don't need to read the whole thing. Well, there you go. The whole thing was read. I would say, yeah. I mean, the Lions did look bad against Tampa Bay. The red zone efficiency was horrendous. The Packers, I think you kind of need to hold off until Love's back. But as far as the Vikings and Bears go, yeah, the Vikings are the biggest surprise of all. No one really saw I actually think the bigger surprise is how good the Vikings defense has been. I think that's a bigger surprise than Sam Darnold being competent in this offense with Kevin O'Connell. And then the Bears, Caleb has just been horrible so far. So, Ziggy, would you agree with that on the Vikings? Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. I am going to hold out being confident in this team until until the Super Bowl confetti's coming down. I'm not going to be confident in this
That
team.
is very true. And no, the NFC North, it's going to be a lot of fun this year. We have a very fun division race ahead of us. From Jack Quack. I mean, what a name.
I love
Hell of a name. I'm a Packers fan through and through, but I'll admit it, if I ever had to cheer for another NFC North team, it would be the Vikings.
Wow.
Paul and Ziggy, what would your second favorite team to cheer for be?
Within the North or in general?
Let's do both.
Within the North, it'd be the Lions.
Easily.
They're not the Bears, but they're not the Packers either.
Easily.
Outside, I'd go back to the Rams. I don't mind them.
If I had to pick another team, it would probably be the Dolphins.
That's a likable team, yeah.
I mean, but that would be, I just don't know how to pick them. So that would be miserable as well.
Mine was the Jags when I was growing up.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. I when growing up, I used to have a soft spot for the Browns. I just really, I mean, what a poor draw. From Midwest Mountain Man, he says, "What's the minimum record a low expectation team needs to achieve before you go, okay, this team is legitimately good?"
That's a good question. I like Midwest Mountain Man.
So is there a point this year where?
So who's a team who's
the Steelers?
Like, what's an example?
The Steelers.
The Vikings.
The Vikings. The Raiders he gives, the Saints.
Well, I think it all
depends on how they look.
The Vikings and Raiders are different. But I say generally a team is good if they can hit that 10-win mark. I think 9-8 is an average team.
I mean, but 10 wins is a lot to ask before you believe in a team being decent.
I mean,
do you have a number, Ziggy? Because I don't really have a number. I view it.
No, I think it's so dependent on context. I don't think there's a specific record you can point to.
I'm kind of with you as well. If I had to answer the question, you give 4-1, 5-1. The Vikings were 5-0 with Bradford. That one,
and everyone knew.
Yeah, like we were 13-4 with Kirk a few years ago, and our defense was giving up 400 yards a game. So it was fun to hope, but you never really how much do you believe? I would say if you're sitting there at like 7-2. I mean, remember you guys were like 10-1, 11-0. You were 11-0, but you were like barely winning games, and then you got murdered.
You lost at home in the playoffs, Cleveland. Yeah.
I think it really truly depends on watching the team play and how they look. I think there are teams that are 3-4 that will beat some 6-1 teams because it's just sometimes you get.
Remember when the Giants were like 7-2? We all knew they were frauds, and then they beat the Vikings, and then revealed they were frauds.
A good question, though.
I might have misheard the question. Is there like wins in a row?
No. Is there like a number, a record next to a team name where you would kind of regardless of how they look, just be like, okay, yeah, like they're legit.
Yeah, maybe 9-8.
From Logan V, he says, had a solid week in fantasy thanks to Justin Jefferson. Just to have Marvin Harrison Jr. destroy me. Is this just another hot start for the Cardinals just to see them fall apart again?
I'm buying into him. I think I'm buying into him.
I also don't think it's hot enough. Like we're 1-1. We're 1-1.
Right. Yeah. It's not like they went on the road and beat Buffalo.
Yeah, if they were 2-0, like they were 7-0 a few years ago. But this is Ziggy's team, so Ziggy,
I'm buying in.
I'm always buying on the Cardinals. I love this team.
I like them. I like the Cardinals as well.
Maybe the Cardinals would be the team I'd have to root for. Actually, I do like the Cardinals.
They're your boys. From Foxtrot Uniform, commenter formerly known as Defective here. Defective.
I was wondering where Defective went.
We are next.
It was Defector, not Defective.
Oh,
no, it was Defective.
He said Defective.
Yeah, I think it was Defective.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, I think
we are now 2 games in and have a few bits of data points pointing a few different directions. I'd love to hear your hot takes for the rest of the season based upon 3 games. The Vikings are winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'd go Steelers.
Vikings Steelers Super Bowl.
Yeah, go Steelers Vikings Super Bowl. Yeah.
Hot takes. I think the Saints are actually going to cool off a lot. I know I called them a contender in the episode, but I think they will cool off a lot. I like the evidence points that you have to say they're a contender, but I do think they will. I don't think the Saints will make the playoffs.
I think Aaron Rodgers is old and washed, and the Jets finished 3rd in the AFC East.
I was trying to say that all offseason, and no one believed me.
I believe you now. I'm on board. But many still think that's a hot take. I don't think it is.
Do you have a hot take, Ziggy, before we move on?
Cardinals win the NFC West.
Oh, all right. That is the hottest one. Well done. Sounds Epic Music says, I, as a Packers fan, put the Vikings and Packers to win, being in the minority of both. Oh, in the pick'em pool. He said, I want to ask, how does it feel to have the Packers fans holding the flame for the Vikings while, according to the pick'em, 94% of your subscribers did not? 94% of our subscribers did not. I'm assuming did not pick the Vikings there. Well, yeah. Look, I mean, sounds Epic Music. You clearly are a good football mind and can see that Sam Darnold and this Vikings defense is legitimate. So I feel great. The more Packers fans that fear us, the better. That's all. You have to fear us to a degree if you're picking us to beat San Francisco. So Cusick says, would you rather want to watch a divisional opponent go 0-17? We'll say the Packers in this situation. Get the first overall pick, or watch them go all the way to the Super Bowl just to lose. I mean, that's perfect for this channel. I would love to see them lose in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, that's for you guys.
0-17 easily.
But yeah, I think.
Here's how bad it is to go 0-17.
No, that would be very fun.
Yeah.
I would love to see Green Bay go 0-17.
So, I mean, for our channel, it's Green Bay going to the Super Bowl and losing. I mean, that'd be ideal.
I mean, I would get a lot of joy out of both of them. But 0-7, I mean, 0-17 is just.
Oh, I would.
That's so miserable. Like, it's kind of like as a Devils fan, watching the Rangers play or watching the Mets, I'm a Yankees fan. Like, there is some enjoyment.
You're not a Yankees fan.
There is some enjoyment in the run that a rival has because you have like a rooting interest against them the entire time. It's like this weird push and pull where when the Mets do good, it starts to bother me a little bit. It's like they can't win, but I'm also like, I'm not going to watch Braves and like Padres, but I'm going to watch the Mets because I'm interested in that. So I think there is a little bit of like, you're not rooting for your rival, but you're interested in them. So I actually wouldn't. I would get enjoyment out of the Packers Super Bowl run to see them lose. I mean, that's a huge win. That would be like winning the Super Bowl almost.
I'd go like Ravens or Bengals 0-17. I'd sign up for that immediately.
What if Big Cat said that his Super Bowl was watching the Packers lose in a big playoff game like that? He's right.
Yeah,
like that is the Super Bowl for Vikings and Bears and Lions fans. I'd love to see you lose the Super Bowl. John Exler, was his other one. Howdy crew, watching the Bears Texans game, I'm personally convinced that Caleb, while making some mistakes, still has super high potential. But there are two huge problems. One, the offensive line. What hot garbage that is. Problem two, Eberflus needs to be fired. Both of his challenges were literally the worst I've ever seen. He has so much talent on the field, yet he and the OC call the worst plays. They don't know how to use their pieces. 90% of the time, the receivers are running backyard football routes. This is coming from a Packers fan who's tired of the whooping up on the Bears and would actually like to see some contestable games. What are y'all's thoughts? So we talked a bit about this throughout the mailbag today, but we all think it's way too early to judge. Outside of Jack, I'm sorry. Me and Ziggy think it's way too early to judge Caleb Williams. Give the team a little time. The offensive line has to be better 100%. I'm not going to fire Eberflus yet. I think that he is on a very, very thin line. He's really on a short leash. But give him a few more weeks here, Chicago. Let's see how it is in midseason before we overreact. Cubs 2110. Hey fellas, curious which 2-0 team is the most fraudulent.
I'd probably go Seattle. Maybe the Chargers. Seattle, the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not. You should go back and watch our segment on it. That's what you should do. We talked about this quite a bit.
The Steelers. It is the Steelers.
I love it. Keep talking.
Patrick Williams, 9-0. I mean, no offense. Zero offense.
Love it.
Patrick Williams says, I'm deciding between two teams for my Survivor League. Already used the Bears and the Chargers, so can't use them again. Would y'all choose the Browns against the Giants or the Raiders against the Panthers? Want to make it far, so don't really want to use any of the good teams this early.
Browns.
So I will just say it's a matter of Survivor strategy. I think people are too hesitant to pick the teams that aren't expected to be as good because they're hopeful that they can use them later. The Bucks won't be favored again until week 12 or 13 by more than 3 points. Bucks versus the Broncos, I think, is the easy pick of the slate.
I am 100% with you, Ziggy. People are always afraid. Survivor pools is what your goal should be. Survive in advance. Does not matter. Use up the good teams, because when you try and get cute and you don't pick who you actually think is the best, that's when you lose. So
unless you're a 3,000 person pool, then do whatever. But if you're in a pool of your buddies or whatever, make the right pick.
Yeah, between those two, I'll go with the Raiders, but I would go with the Bucks.
The Browns will not lose at home to the Giants. There's just no way that's happening.
Probably not, but
Deshaun Watson will surprise you.
I think the Giants are that bad, though.
I think the Raiders are better. The Raiders are also at home, right?
No, Panthers. Yeah, that doesn't matter. The Panthers are a new look team with Andy Dalton. Trust me.
That team is so. Deontay Johnson is like you calling for Canales' head. It's
Dalton's good.
Magic Carp. Oh, here's Magic Carp. He says, "Do you agree with the benching of Bryce Young?" No, we said before. No,
I think that's the only Chargers fan on this channel. Yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah, it's your friend, right? Yeah, the benching of Bryce Young. Well, we just don't. Well, Jack 100% agrees with that.
Yeah, he's terrible. Or just go 0-17 and then draft Quinn Ewers or something.
Then you should play Bryce Young. There's no reason not. Either Bryce Young sucks and you get a quarterback next year, or he doesn't. He somehow magically turns it around and then he's okay.
Yeah, I guess I agree. He either is terrible or somehow flips a switch.
But Real Stinkween says, "What is the Moneyline lock of the week?"
Who is that? Is that?
I don't know.
Is that Alex?
Maybe that would be good. Sounds a little bit Stinkween. We have a friend Alex Wiener.
Is that Alex Wiener?
Moneyline lock of the week.
Real stinky ween.
Well, in terms of if you want to place a bet, we think the Bucks are going to beat the Broncos. That's what we just.
No, money line. It's the Colts.
The Colts. Yeah, that's your pick.
Cheap money line against the Bears. What was it -120 against the Bears at home? This is a must win for the Colts too. The Colts have to win this week.
Seabass Sykes. Would you rather have JJ McCarthy or Malik Willis? JJ McCarthy. Next question. Malik Willis is already. Yeah, it's.
See, when Packers fans, they've been in the comments saying I don't know who you guys are talking about, is saying Malik Willis is going to be a star or something. This is what we're talking about.
Hey guys, congrats on the Vikings win. My question is, of the teams that have never won a Super Bowl, who do you think is going to be the first to win one? Also, of those, who do you think is going to be the last or never ever win a Super Bowl?
I mean, the Vikings are winning this year, right?
Yeah, so obviously can't be the Vikings.
He's across all the Vikings.
I'm not feeling good about the Panthers right now.
They never won.
They have not won.
Ooh.
The Bills are the Bengals right now are probably the best pick, right?
Yeah,
I'll probably go with the.
That's a toss up.
I'd probably. Yeah, gosh, I do like Josh Allen, but it feels like the Bengals are probably more likely.
It's so hard to pick against Burrow in the playoffs.
I know, that's the thing. I think I'd probably go with the Bengals.
I'd probably go with the Bengals too.
Yeah. Do you have one, Ziggy? And the Browns will never win too.
No, they'll never win.
Yeah, I don't think the Panthers, like Tepper is young. He will own this team for a long time. I don't think they're going to do anything with him as the owner.
Some salt and pepper, baby.
All right, just a handful left here. From Zach Freight. I told y'all Sammy D will be good with the Vikings, not the Queens. And you guys will be a playoff caliber team. Do respect that, though. Also, Jack, I've been in the same boat as you with Bryce Young and Caleb Williams being busts. As a Packer fan, the Caleb Williams one was easier to see coming because the Bears are truly incapable of developing a quarterback. It's a little sad, but even more hilarious. My unrelated question is, who's going to be the upset of the week? Go Pack, go. Well, unfortunately, with your Go Pack, go, it will be the Minnesota Vikings beating the Houston Texans at home to make it 2 straight underdog home wins. Idaho Pac-Man. What's up, guys? Love the show. Keep up the good work. Questions for all. All right, we'll do one at a time right here. Jack, is Oregon overrated, barely beating 2 unranked Idaho teams, or should Idaho and BSU be ranked? Boise.
Oh, I love this question. A little college football
action.
You can ask college football questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, I love this. So they were a 47-point favorite week 1 against an FCS team beaten by 10 points. I was like, wait a minute. You know what? It's week 1. Boise State, don't be fooled, is a solid team. One of the better running backs in the country. I think they're my group of 5 school to go to the playoff.
Not Northern Illinois?
No.
Those guys are good.
Boise State.
They're frauds. They beat Notre Dame once, and now everyone's talking about them like they're great.
Boise State's a good team. And just when I was starting to get down on the Ducks, like a lot of people were, they go to a rival in Oregon State, hang 49 points and beat it by 35. Dylan Gabriel's one of the better quarterbacks in the country. This team's going to find it. They're dynamic. They are a good team. I wouldn't say overrated. And week 3 really showed me that because they went into Oregon State, into Corvallis, packed house, rival team, and they blew their brakes off.
Ziggy, are you ready to admit you're a Packers fan?
Hell yeah.
I think lying is immoral.
Zach, it's nice that people remember Zach. Zach, will the Dolphins fare better, worse, or the same without Tua? They will fare worse. Tua's good. He can't win the big games, but he's good. Lastly, Paul, thanks again for the midnight fantasy advice. But if the Vikings continue their success, what will they do with Sam Darnold? Like, let's say Sam Darnold goes on a run to, let's say they win the division. I think he'd probably give him like a 2-year, $60 million deal, right?
The Vikings?
Yeah. Like if
the Vikings are a roster built around a rookie quarterback, they will let him walk.
You think so? You don't, if Sam Darnold looks good, you don't think they'll give him $30 million?
He can get much more in the open market. Why would he stay around?
I'm not sure someone's going to give Sam Darnold
a team without a quarterback they want to play with, without a young rookie quarterback they want to start, is going to offer more than the Vikings, who have so much money tied up in other players.
You think someone would just give Sam Darnold a $35-40 million contract?
If it happened with Baker Mayfield, it will happen with Sam Darnold.
Yeah, but that was given in-house. They
paid that much because there were teams outside willing to pay something similar.
I wouldn't go over the 30. So yeah, then I'd let him walk. And I guess I'd play JJ. We have 4 more. From Magikarp again. Magikarp's main question. Stop believing in the Chargers. They are like the Vikings. Once you believe, they will destroy your hopes and dreams. They are pain and suffering. As one of the dozens of honestly, as one of the dozens of Chargers fans, I won't believe until we beat the Chiefs. In all seriousness, though, given how much better USC looks this year without Caleb, Jack may be onto something. Great comment right there.
Miller Moss is better.
Eric Wallace says, thank you, Eric. You always leave comments. Week 5, Saints Chiefs game. Super Bowl preview? Question mark? No. The Saints the Saints are playing very, very well right now. They're not winning the NFC. Please don't let them win the NFC. Biggest fraud at 2-0. The Steelers, unfortunately.
Seahawks. Will
Jack marry Lauren?
The answer is yes, and I'll prove it. I'll kiss her on air right now. Lauren, come down.
Please, we'll move on. 3 questions. Mercury Road says, my bold prediction, Malik Willis will have more touchdowns than Ziggy has chest hairs. You want to unbutton one of those buttons?
Ziggy, come on, show us that bush. Show us that bush.
The chest hair? What? Well, we're already there. So my question is
this. Bush down here.
Oh, this is disgusting. How much vomit would be required on the football for the Bears to prevent Malik Willis from throwing 8 touchdowns against their defense in the first half? It sounds like Malik will tuck and run with any vomit on the ball. So I'm going to go with just one throw up. Butt Pounder 420 says, question for Ziggy. What's your current plans for World Domination? And will you be subjugating the French?
I can't share that on air.
Last question from Dobby the Dominator. Question for Ziggy. When are we getting the swimsuit calendar up in the shop? Need something to look at during commercial breaks on Sunday.
That's what I've been wondering.
Y'all are something else, man.
We've all been wondering the same thing.
The Ziggy swimsuit calendar.
Like, when do you think? When's an estimation?
That would be
when's an estimation?
That would be a hell of a seller.
What would January look like?
Bundled up, probably.
Bundled up, like maybe a little
Snow bunny. Snow bunny.
Snow bunny. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. Thanks for everyone for the mailbag questions. I'm really happy we limited those questions to like 3 there for a grand finale. If you know, you know. And we'll see you for the week 4 reaction shows. Thanks, everyone.